Hey, welcome back, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the live, y'all. How have you guys been? I have been well. If you guys want to know, let me go ahead and do a poll for today. Are you guys ready for today's conversation? Because I'm ready for today's conversation, because today's conversation is going to be on the topic that you guys love to talk about. You guys love to talk about, and it's how to get beautiful women. I know that you guys love to talk about it for some reason. I love that for y'all, because beautiful women should be with great men, right? So the topic is how to talk to women and when. As you guys know, I study communication disorders in general. That's what I enjoy doing, and more specifically, the niche that I really enjoy is pragmatic and social communication. In general, I love that topic, and a lot of times, I work with people who are on the spectrum, um, and people with other disorders that impairs their ability to have social skills and social awareness. So I see that this is an increasing issue with social media, creating a form of like a barrier for a lot of people. If you grew up on social media, you may have a hard time really connecting and have relationships with people in real time. So I see that, well, for me, this is my own personal beliefs. I see that men are oftentimes a little pulled back, a little regressed, in certain masculine traits that were seen in the like early 90s, early 2000s, because we didn't have phones and social media to hinder our ability to connect to people personally in real time. So with that being said, there's a lot of reasons, and we're going to get into the reasons why, a lot of men may struggle to communicate with women in real time. I'm a woman. On top of that, I'm a beautiful, intelligent, smart woman. So I can also give like my own anecdotes, experiences, and tell you guys, I have women friends. All of my friends are beautiful women. So I have all the deets. Not only do I have the intelligence, but I have the deets to help you guys talk to beautiful women. So I'm going to ask you guys, are you afraid to talk to women? Now, I expect a lot of people to say no. I'm going to say sometimes. I'm going to add, I don't know. Because a lot of y'all don't be knowing. I don't know what be going on, but y'all don't be knowing sometimes. So happy Sunday, you guys. There's the poll for you guys to vote. So make sure you guys vote before we get into the conversation for today. I thought about this prior to us getting on here. Happy Sunday, y'all. And happy holidays, since tomorrow is a holiday. But you guys tell me. Tell me what you guys think. I want to know if you're afraid to talk to women. If you are, comment. Maybe I should add that. Comment below if you're afraid to talk to women. Let me add a pin chat as well. Hey, everyone. Okay, so now I got our thing. I'm gonna pin the message. There we go. Y'all ready to get this conversation started? We're gonna go ahead and get the conversation started on this beautiful Sunday, y'all. On this beautiful Sunday, okay? So I want to start off by talking about why so many men may have a fear or insecurity or a lack of desire to approach women. I think it's a myriad of reasons. It's a lot, why a man would be afraid to approach a woman. But off rip, I understand that many men, whether they are afraid or not, have a desire and interest in a woman, right? So if you have that desire and interest in a woman, you should be aware of that, right? Because if you are not kind of moving on some of those desires, it's going to make you feel more insecure each time. So some of these reasons why some of these men have a problem approaching women in general is, number one, the one that they always talk about is fear of rejection. A lot of men are afraid to be rejected. They don't know how the woman is going to respond to them when they approach them, when they ask for their number. They don't know if the woman's going to lie to them, if they're going to kind of like talk down on them. I get it. There's real fears in actually approaching a stranger that you're only looking at visually, or you've been scoping the scene out, you know. So some of these statements could be like, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to embarrass myself. You don't want to get curved. All those little things. A lot of men have a fear of even approaching a woman just because they feel like, well, if I approach this woman, she's going to say, no, I'm going to waste my time. They don't see the value, right? Or they just have that fear of rejection or being seen publicly, being denied. There's a lot of reasons. So that's just one. They don't want to experience that pain, whatever that comes with. And another reason could definitely be just they have an anxiety around feeling like they have to perform or be this individual that they're not really that person, right? So some research has shown like that many men experience anxiety when they feel they must perform competence, confidence, or even financial capability all at the same time, right? So basically it's saying I feel like I have to be somebody who I'm not, just so that I can talk to this woman, just so that I can get this woman's number. So it creates like that cognitive dissonance of, I'm not this person, but I want to portray this person, or I want to seem like I'm this person so that this woman can like me. And we talked about, being around deceptive people in the last video, and just about the fact that a lot of people are not purposely trying to deceive. In a way, they'll deceive you because they're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to make themselves feel better, or they want to belong, with people that they like, Another one, and I see this a lot with people who maybe have anxiety or anxious, maybe an anxious individual, but they just don't have the tools to actually approach a woman and communicate. Those tools are actually like the pragmatic skills, the social skills, right? They get nervous, they start sweating, they start hyperventilating, even thinking about it, because they have so much anxiety. They may have undeveloped skills. Maybe they were not around a lot of women growing up, they get nervous when the conversation goes silent. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to keep a conversation going. They don't know how to get a woman interested in them just through a conversation. Or they just are unemotional, like emotionally unaware. So those are just a few reasons. There's going to be a lot more reasons as to why a man has a struggle, approaching women. Now, this is not all men, but there is a small portion of men, and I see you guys asking me these questions all the time. Oh, how can you get a woman? I want to talk to women. So this is why I'm making this video, for that small group of men who are constantly making statements about this topic. So I want y'all to understand that there's actual rules, unspoken rules to having a good conversation. And I'm going to tell y'all the unspoken rules to having a good conversation today. Because some of y'all just are afraid to like approach a man. I mean, not a man. Y'all are afraid to approach a woman because y'all don't know how to have a good conversation. So I'm going to tell y'all how to have a good conversation. You said, it's cool to publicly shout about my love. I mean, I guess that's up to you. That's your life, baby. Ask the person who you love if they feel comfortable. If they don't feel comfortable, maybe not. If they feel comfortable, maybe so. So Of course, I can't sit up here and make this whole video about how to have a good conversation, but I can tell y'all some of the key features of a good conversation. So a good conversation consists of someone who, at least two people, right? Because once you start having a conversation with yourself, they call you crazy. But a good conversation starts with at least two people who have interest, and they show that through their body language. They're facing each other, right? They're not looking all around the room while they talking. If you are approaching a woman and you're trying to talk to her and she's looking all around the room, that's a key indicator that she's not interested in you. So make sure that when you are approaching a woman, she is actually focused on you, paying attention to you. Her body language is directed to you, facing you, and not like her feet is facing one way and you facing towards her, she facing towards another way because she really want to leave the conversation, right? So you got to actually really pay attention to her body language to make sure that she's actually comfortable and she has a desire to talk to you as well. So when you realize, oh, she's a little interested in me, she facing towards me, she's giving me a little eye contact, right? You can start a conversation and you can greet her and just be like, hey, you might even compliment her. Don't take it too far, because once a man compliment too much, it starts to feel a little bit scammy and manipulative, right? So, do a quick compliment like, oh, I saw you from a room, I was paying attention to you, you're beautiful, or you're smart, or I love this about you, or your voice, I don't know. Whatever compliment you want to say, it's really up to you. And you make that compliment and you can ask her a couple of questions. So a conversation goes like this. You greet, get to know, right? Ask a question, get a response, respond to the response. You can ask a question or make a comment about what they said. So what that could look like is like this. Oh, I seen you from across the room. You look very beautiful. How are you doing today? Oh, the other person responds, oh, I'm doing well. How are you doing? And then the other person responds and they say, oh, it's been a good day. What is your name? That is one thing that I feel like a lot of men miss when trying to talk to a woman. You got to go back through and you got to say, what is your name? A lot of men, they see a beautiful woman and they'll immediately, or they'll just see a woman in general. You never know. They ain't got to be beautiful. They'll see a woman in general and they'll go up to the woman and they'll be like, oh, you so beautiful, you so fine. Can I get your number? And it's like, oh, you didn't ask me who I am, what my name is. You don't know me, right? Hey, Kiefer. And you automatically just asking for my number, right? So it feels very like FOS. If you get my acronyms, right? So make sure when you're meeting someone, you just met them that day, before you ask for their number, ask for their name. That shows genuine interest in who they are, right? So once you do that, you like, oh, what's your name? They respond, oh, my name is Amanda. They ask you, what's your name? Oh, my name is Josiah. And then after that, you can ask, if this is your first time meeting this person, you don't want to sit up in this person's face all day. It's just not necessary to be trying to get to know that whole person. You just met the person. Keep it short and be like, okay, well, ask 1 to 2 questions. Let me save this. Let me save it. Let me save this. Let me save it. I'm gonna come back to it. Right? So that's just an example of how to have a good conversation. A lot of people are afraid of having a conversation because they don't know the structure of a conversation. Right? The person that is not doing that doesn't exist. What you mean? If I shouted about while approaching you, would you prefer it? No. So, now let's get into it. This is for the young men who want to talk to women. And they may have anxiety or a fear of talking to women or insecurity. This could also be a conversation for women who are interested in women. But in general, the concept of this conversation is masculine people who want to attract and talk to and get in a relationship with a feminine person. So you said, if I have a bad day, what would be the answer? I don't know what you're talking about, friend. So the first thing first, I'm gonna give y'all a few things that you guys really just need to ingrain in your brain, right? Hey John, you need to ingrain it in your brain if you're having a plan to talk to women. What? Okay, that's interesting. So Jeff said it's only hard when you actually like them. Okay, so you're bet. I feel like that could be just you, because I feel like when you like somebody, not everybody is like, oh, I like that person, and then it's difficult to talk to them, right? It's just, we gonna keep going on the conversation now. So first thing first, and I always tell you guys this: if you want to talk to women and actually get with that woman that you're talking to and actually have a relationship, whatever that may look like for you, you have to understand your role. What role do you want to play in this life? And I'm going to keep harping this into y'all's head because we did a poll one time in a previous video where I asked you guys, what did you think your role, the role that you wanted in your relationship financial wise? What financial roles did you want to play or did you want your partner to play? And majority, this was one of the only polls that ever was like this. Majority of the men said, I don't know. Majority of the people who voted, because I don't know if it's men or women. Majority of the people who voted said, I don't know what type of role they wanted to play or what type of role that they were interested in, right? So because of that, I think that that's one of the biggest breakdowns in relationships is that people no longer know their role or they're not confident in managing and maintaining the role that they want to play. So understand first, you need to know what type of commitment you want to have, right? Do you want to be in a polygamous relationship? Do you want to just date? Do you want to date multiple people? Do you want to be in a committed relationship? Do you want to get married? Do you never want to get married? Do you never want to have children? Do you just want to casually get to know somebody, take a year or two to get to know them? Or do you like to move fast? You know, do you want a 50-50 relationship where both partners are working, putting the money in? Or do you want a more provider, stay-at-home mom relationship? These are things that people need to know, because if you don't know this off rip, when you're talking to other people, it's easy to just get emotionally bonded with those people and either lower your standards and build resentment or waste your time getting to know somebody when you guys could have had a more platonic relationship and maintain that relationship instead of wasting a good relationship, right? So you know, if you don't know these things, you can send off mixed signals. You know, you could waste your time, build resentment, which is a terrible thing. You can have performance anxiety because you know that y'all's values are not aligned. You can feel like you're overcompensating to make up for things. It's a lot of things that could backfire if you just don't know who you want to play and who you desire to be with in a relationship. And if you don't know, if you're in the mindset of, I really don't know the answer of those things, you need to get in the field. You need to get in the field. You need to start talking to people. You need to start analyzing your daily life. You got to start doing the work, trying it out, and then being like, okay, that was good or that wasn't good. Let me see what y'all talking about. Okay. It's the fact of rejection that could mess up a friendship, but she flirts back. I don't know. Yeah, just speak on it. Make a comment. You can even joke around like a lot of friends do, where they'll be like, we should date. I don't know how that would work. And then see what they say. And then whatever their response is, you could be like, oh, just kidding. Or you could be like, oh, they actually interested. You know, you never know. And the reason why I say you can joke about it is because you said that you don't want to mess up a friendship. So that means y'all already have a relationship. So, you know, just slide it in there, see what they say. What? Want to meet a great girl and a year later still think she's great. Oh, you already met her? Okay. Too many questions. If you are happy and straight, everything comes on time. Regards from Europe. Stop to think and waste your time. You have only one life. Okay. So, back to what I was saying. Clarity, understanding who you are, what you want for your life, will really reduce a lot of anxiety. It will reduce you wasting your time. It will reduce you knowing who you should and should not be with. Like, it will really take away a lot of that anxiety and fear. You'll be more confident, right? And you'll be able to have a better conversation in general. If you know that I am a man who, I don't work a job that I feel like I could take care of a family. And because I feel like I don't work and I will never work a job that I feel like will be able to financially provide for my family, or I don't, or it could be I just don't want to be the sole provider for my family. I want a woman who will work, but will also have multiple children, and she will also be a housewife. Because I feel like that's what a lot of men want. Will that work? Stats say otherwise. But at least you know what you want. Are all desires logical? No. But if you know what you want, you know which direction to take it, right? You know what direction to go. So, or you could be a man who's like, well, I might not have a lot of money right now, but I want to be a provider, and I do have these desires and I have goals that I will make. So I don't want to date anyone and commit to anyone right now because I'm not in the place that I want to be. But maybe in about 5 years, I'll be ready to commit. I was just having a conversation with someone the other day. And every time I see this person, they got a new girlfriend. I be like, hey, you got a new girlfriend every 2 months. But they were like, I don't think I want to be married until like I'm older. And I think that's okay. If you know that you're not in a marriage mindset, you shouldn't. And quite frankly, your brain is not developed until about 25. And then even then, you're settling into common sense around 26 and 27. So really, you shouldn't really be making those type of long-term committed decisions and be dating so seriously until maybe around 27, 30, right? Is when you should become more serious about it. And then you can make commitments maybe in your 30s like that. Long-term commitments. Stats wise, we have whole videos about this, but stats wise, most relationships that are successful long-term, they got married around their 30s. So it's not that bad to wait until you're 30 to start desiring to be really committed to an individual. So, be confident in what you want for yourself in that moment. And that's really going to improve your ability to talk to a woman. I'm telling you. So don't back down. I know, you're going to meet people. You're going to have to date people. I think that's a lot of issue that a lot of people also have an issue with, is that they are afraid to date, whether because they don't have the finances for it or whatever reason. They don't have the time. They don't have the energy. But you're not going to meet one or two people and then find your soulmate. That's not how it works for everybody. Most of the time, most people have to date a few times, go on a few dates. And when I say few, I need to use a different word, because it's not a few dates, like 3 dates. You're going to have to maybe go on 10 different dates with 10 different people before you may be really solid on, this is the type of person who I feel like I'm the best with. You may have to have 1 or 2 boyfriends or girlfriends that you had a relationship with prior to you being like, okay, this is what I'm most comfortable with. And that's okay to go through those dating lives, get to know people, before you make a commitment to the type of individual you want to be with, okay? And somebody said, what does the provider mean? Let's look it up on Google. Provider definition. Google says a person or thing that provides something, aka a breadwinner, most likely. Let's look up what the definition of provide means. Make available for use, supply. Equip or supply someone with something useful or necessary. Make adequate preparation for a possible event, maybe. So what could that look like? Hey, Haywood, welcome back, welcome back. What could that look like? Another definition, Cambridge Dictionary says to give something that is needed or wanted to someone. What does that look like? If you're in a relationship, you giving your partner, you're meeting your partner's needs and giving them something. You're preparing something for your partner. You're preparing things for partners. So a provider could look like a man that pays all the bills in the home. A man that makes sure that his woman has enough money to take care of whatever needs she so desires. A man that is preparing the financial future with and for their family. They're thinking long-term vision, as in retirement, life insurance, school, all of these things. That is some examples that I would say based on the definition of a provider. So, make available for use. You know, these, you got to supply. What are you supplying? It's different things you can provide. Hello, y'all. How y'all doing today? Okay, I'm going to keep going before I read the poll, y'all. I'm going to keep going before I read the poll. We got 18 votes. Make sure y'all vote in the poll. Make sure y'all vote in the poll. Okay, let me make sure I said that correctly. So, again, once you know your role and you know what type of person, woman that you desire, it's really going to be very easy to navigate the talking to women in the dating life, right? So here's one thing that I feel like may be a little controversial for some, but this is my opinion on dating life, experiencing trigger topic. Hey, Fana. Dating life and, you know, men dating women. This is more for serious men. A man who's serious about dating a woman. This is for those people. If you're not serious, you may not do this. And I believe for any woman, a woman who interacts with a serious man will get this response. So, for instance, when you are first meeting a woman, you should always offer something as a masculine person. You should always offer something, okay? The reason, and I'm going to give you examples of what you can offer. The reason is because it shows that you're intentional. It shows that you are giving effort to the relationship, you are giving direction to the relationship, and you are well competent of being able to manage and maintain this relationship. Those are a few reasons why providing something outright is going to be a benefit to you as a man or a masculine person trying to get with a feminine woman, right? So a lot of people, it could look like you buying a drink. Let's say y'all at a bar or y'all at a restaurant. You buy her drink, maybe pay for a meal, you know. It could also look like you offering a date. If you don't want to initially come off as, okay, I'm gonna pay for this, right? I know a lot of people don't want to lead by finances. So if that's what you don't want to lead by, your thing that you could give is a date. And not like you being like, oh, okay, let me ask her, where do you want to go? Where do you like to go? Let me be so for real. That's where a lot of men mess up, especially for themselves, because they sit up here and they put the ball in the woman's court instead of taking that ball and slam dunk, you know, and yeah, you know. So if you don't want to offer by, you know, maybe paying for something, offering, you know, a drink, things like that, wherever you may meet this person, you can offer a date and just be like, okay, you know, after you gotten to know, we're going to get a little bit deeper into it. But once you do the vetting process of talking to this young lady, whoever you're talking to, or this woman, you could be like, well, you know, I like to go to this particular wine bar or this restaurant or this activity place. Can I take you on this date? Or what day is best for you? What time is best for you? if you can at least offer that, that will show that you are interested, and she will show interest back into you because she'll know that you are serious. Now, more unserious men probably won't do that. And that's, as a woman, you'll know that a man is serious about you is if they can offer something to you, you know, initially when they're speaking to you. That's how you know the more serious, sometimes more serious man. You know, sometimes you never know. So you can also offer protection. Maybe you walk her to the car. Not everybody may be comfortable with that though. Hey y'all, not everybody may be comfortable with that. You can offer some ideas. I don't know. She tell you something interesting and you say, "Oh well, here's what you could do about that. I have keen insight on how to do that." Right? You can maybe even be funny. Y'all know how that what they say about making a woman smile and laugh. If you don't know, look it up. So there's a lot of things. And at the end of the day, when you offer anything to a woman, upon meeting them, it really shows that you have value to provide in a relationship. And as a man, or as a masculine person interested in women, you have to have some type of value that you're providing, because you are automatically seeking value from this person more often. So don't just, be parasitic. If you know that you're going to get value out of this person, provide value as well in whatever way initially upon meeting them. Okay. So I hope that, some of y'all are not triggered by that one, but please, I'm telling you, it will really show some interesting things. Like, I've had some interesting ways that men have provided minor value, like the car wash. You go to the car wash, I've had multiple people who would just come up and start cleaning my tires. Didn't ask them to do that, but it was a great conversational starter. Or even, what's another thing, maybe, they met me one place and they say, "Oh, this is right down the street, let me get you this." um that is for more ignorant women. Let's just say that. That won't work with every woman, but it will work with some. But now that we have 21 votes, let's see what everybody's saying in the poll. The question is, are you afraid to talk to women? 57% said no. Well, look at y'all. 29% said sometimes. 10% said yes. And 5% said I don't know. Remember, it's always that little bit of percentage of people who just don't know. So, yeah, majority of the people said no, they're not afraid to talk to women, which I'm so proud of you guys. I know there's a small portion of people who are. So for those who are afraid, or who are insecure, who are struggling to talk to women, or who just really want to improve their ability to communicate with women, here we go. Okay. So the next thing that I want you guys to understand is, when you first meet a woman, don't be trying to talk to this person all day. Let's exchange numbers and talk on the phone for 8 hours a day. Or let's start talking every day. Like, don't get in a love bombing phase of dating. Because a lot of people easily can love bomb, and it's like a waste of time. Because what's happening is, when you're love bombing, you're building an emotional connection that's not really built on a solid foundation. Right? So you just met the person, and then the next day you like, it's just something about you. Something about you that I just really love. Like, you're just the one for me. Now y'all living together 3 days. It's happened. I see people do it. So, don't do too much initially, because a lot of slow burnt things usually have a better ability to last than things that are quickly ran through. So don't try to like pressure the relationship to moving fast. So the way that you can start that off is, when you initially meet this person, keep the conversation short. Keep it short. That's just how you do it. You can have a little 5-minute conversation, maybe even 10 if you're just really interested in the person. But when you meet the person, remember, like I told you guys, you're going to greet, "Hey, how are you?" Maybe even compliment, "You're beautiful," whatever. And then what you're going to do is ask for their name. Remember that part. A lot of people forget that part. And you're going to have maybe 1 to 2 questions to vet. Because as a man, you already looked at this person, you already looked at this woman, or as a masculine person, you already looked at this woman, and you were like, oh, she fine. She beautiful. Oh, oh yeah, that's the one I want to talk. You already did that part. So now that you vetted the physical appearance or how you've seen her interacting in public spaces, you're going to go up to her and you're going to be like, you're going to have 1 to 2 questions. Those 1 to 2 questions are going to be vetting questions to see if you're going to take this person out or to see if you're going to continue trying to get to know that person. Really, you should always be planning to take the person out. But so, I know some people want to maybe have a phone conversation before they take someone on a date. So up to you how you want to go about that. Maybe you're just vetting them to see if you want to have a phone conversation next, or maybe you're just vetting them to see, okay, will I take them on a date? It's a couple of options. So you want to make sure those vetting questions are what you really need to know to get what you want out of this relationship. And like I said, the way you're going to know that is by knowing your role, what you want in this relationship. Okay, do you want a woman who's going to, chip in? Do you want a woman who's going to work? Do you want a woman who doesn't want to work? Do you want a more it's really up to you. What do you want? Okay. So those 1 to 2 questions are going to be those questions that's going to let you know before you get to the next point of of whatever y'all are moving towards. So those questions could be asking questions around their responsibility. Those questions could be asking questions about their lifestyle, their dreams, their desires. It's really up to you to know what questions you need to ask to vet the person based on what you want to know or how you want to go about the relationship. So remember, you got to greet. You may give a compliment. Don't do too much. You're going to ask the vetting questions. Make sure they're responding. Make sure you're quiet. Y'all taking turns having a conversation. It's a back and forth. And then you're going to end the conversation and be like, well, I'm excited to get to know you. I'm interested in getting to know you. I hope you enjoy your day. It's whatever. So let me see. Okay. So, when you're just meeting somebody, you don't want to do too much. You don't want to overshare. You don't want to trauma dump. You don't want to make it too structured, right? You want to be chill. So if you are an anxious individual, just breathe and stretch a little bit before you go over there. I know it may sound a little odd for me to say, but I'm so serious because when you do that, it's going to allow you to relax, okay? It's going to allow you to relax. So the next thing that I really need you guys to understand after your vetting, after you provided some type of something, after you've shown that you're ready to provide something, it's time to plan. One of the biggest issues, and I mentioned this earlier, I mentioned this earlier, is that a lot of people who are interested in women, they don't want to plan a date or they don't know how to plan a date. And they're throwing the ball in the other person's court. Understand that for masculine man, when you're talking to a woman, you don't want to throw the ball in their court because you don't know what they're gonna do with that ball. And if they throw the ball back to you and it's a different ball that you can't manage, you're not gonna be too happy. So if you're going to take someone on a date, you're going to plan something, you plan it. You may ask them what you like to eat. You ask them that, they can tell you what they like to eat. But understand that you don't want to be like, where do you want to go? What restaurant you want to go to? What do you want to do on a date? You as a man should have a good core set of things that you can do and take a woman out and do if you want to date them. So it could be, I would say, initial dates. If you're talking about initially getting to know someone, you want to do it in a very an environment that allowed you both to feel safe. So that could be you go to a nice little restaurant, You go to, some people like to go to bars, some people like to go to lounges, some people like to go mini golfing, some people like to go, you know, do something interactive. It's really up to you, the type of person you are. And pay attention to this part: what you can afford, right? So that's the reason why you want to talk to a woman and plan the date, because you can stay in your financial abilities and not worry about overspending or overcompensating or playing a role that you are not really that person. And on top of that, it shows the woman, this is what I'm able to provide as a man, whatever you want to provide, right? So if you keep the ball in your court, you can go ahead and you can keep that relationship going in the direction that you want it to go in, and it doesn't have to be overran by the woman that you're dating, right? So, you know, you can say something like, "Oh, there's a wine bar on this street. I would love to go with you on Saturday at 7. Are you available?" Right? Know your schedule. As a grown man, you should have a schedule. You should have a calendar. If you don't have a calendar, baby, you don't have much to do with your life. So get you a calendar so you can schedule things and you can plan things, okay? And you can be like, "Oh, I'm available around this time," or "She's available around this time." It's really up to you. Don't ask questions like, "Where do you want to go?" The questions you want to say is, "What time are you available?" You know? And honestly, for most women, if you leave the ball in their court or you're ambiguous, a healthy woman, a healthy feminine woman may be turned off by the lack of planning, the lack of consideration, the lack of vision, the lack of direction for you, right? So make sure you're not being ambiguous, not leaving things in the air, because when you're ambiguous or leaving things in the air, that's a feminine nature. And pay attention to when I say feminine nature, feminine character. I'm not calling you a woman. I'm not calling you a female. I'm saying that's feminine energy. Energy can be in both men and women. But if you are a more masculine man, you're going to have both masculine and feminine energy. But more often, the masculine energy is going to overrule the feminine energy. You're going to have more masculine energy in you than feminine, right? So, or that's going to be more perceived in you than your feminine energy. So make sure you're not being ambiguous or leaving things in the air, because it's feminine. And a feminine woman is not going to be attracted to a feminine man. So, so, you know, I know a lot of people are afraid to be like rejected. They feel like they're boring. They feel insecure, maybe not enough. So little things that you could do is tell an interesting story. And, you know, some people don't feel like they're interesting, but it's also because they're judging themselves. There's always somebody for someone. Like there's always someone for someone, literally. So if you feel like you cannot be yourself in totality and be accepted for being yourself, then that's probably not the person for you, right? If you like video games and watching anime, but you trying to talk to a woman who look down on that, who don't want to date a person who play video games, and you trying to overcompensate, that's not you. You live in a false fairy tale life. So, you know, if you can go ahead and get these conversations out initially, you can end the relationship quicker if it's not for you. Hey, Sia, if the relationship is not for you, you know, you can ask thoughtful questions. You know, you can talk about the passions that you guys have, the hobbies that you both have. One person may like playing pickleball. Another person may like going to the gun range. It's really up to you. If you can talk about these things early, you can understand each other's values and determine if the relationship is worth pursuing. I feel like another issue is that a lot of people who don't date a lot have troubles ending relationships that are not for them. So you have to date people. Dating does not include sex. And I think that's another issue that a lot of men have, because they feel like dating is expensive. Well, it is expensive if you have an end goal. If you don't have an end goal, it's going to be, a lot of times they don't date. They not dated if they don't have an ego. A more serious, determined man who has a direction and a goal is going to most likely date, right? So create a budget. That shows you're financially intelligent. Create a budget for dating. I'm telling you. Create a budget for your girlfriend. Put your girlfriend in a budget. So, he said, please don't take the calendar out. The person on the other side is not a meeting. If you like to meet this person, take the time. This is your decision. What you mean? I'm saying that most people who have a life have a schedule. They have a calendar. I don't know. You said don't take the calendar out. The person on the other side is not. I don't get it. Most adults who have things going on in their life, who have a lot of things going on in their life, like me, I have multiple things going on in my life. I have to have a calendar because I will forget. If somebody tell me something, I might overschedule, overplan it. I have friends who I hang out with. I have people who I talk to on the phone. I have things that I schedule, appointments. I have work. Most people have things to do. So that's why I say the calendar. But there's people who don't use a calendar. It's people have different needs in life. People have different ways that they organize their time and their schedule. So that's what I was saying. These are going to be a couple of things that's really going to help you to have a good conversation with women. Get the woman that you're really desiring. Thank you. And keep the woman that you're really desiring. This conversation was honestly more focused on talking and initially getting to know them, like the initial phases. I'm not in the phases of maintaining the. I feel like a lot of issues are actually just getting to know the woman initially is a lot of issues that people have. So I really wanted to keep that conversation focused on this. And if I can really break down what all I spoke about in this video, the first thing is know your role. What role do you want to play? What role are you comfortable with? What role can you manage and maintain on your own and feel confident in doing so? The second one, you're going to be providing. As women, healthy women are always providing something. Masculine, healthy men are always providing something. And a lot of that initially starts with the energy. As a man, as a masculine, healthy man, the energy more often is going to be a structured, determined, directed energy. Know what I want. As a feminine woman, a lot of those times that energy is going to be caring, nurturing, open, accepting, beautiful. So different things that people energy, right? You want to make sure that you are reciprocating in those relationships, especially as a masculine person approaching a feminine person. Another thing is keeping it short and not trying to get to know somebody all in one day. Trying to get to have 3 dates on the phone before actually taking them out in person. Keep it short and get to know that person in real time. Because in real time, you can get the nonverbal cues. You can see that, oh, they said that they don't have any children, but they shook their head no, or they shook their head yes, which shows that they maybe be lying. You can get that more often in person, going on a date. So make sure you keep it short and you vet with intention. Know what you need to know initially as a person that you want to be. Again, some of those things are, you might want to know if this person is responsible, the lifestyle that they live, the passion that they have, the goals that they have. That's going to give you a lot of insight before you decide to take it further and really get to know that person. And then also the last thing for a masculine person who wants to be with a feminine woman is you're going to want to make sure you plan with direction. So all of these things are things that you can do as an individual who is really interested in dating and getting to know somebody, talking to women. All these things is really going to help you to get to another level. I would also say just going to allow you to be more confident. I know a lot of men. Let me not say I know. I believe there's a lot of men who will go out in one night and just ask for whoever's number. And whoever calling them back the next day is who they gonna pursue. So people have different ways that they pursue, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's really up to you. It's really up to you about what you want for your life and how you want to go about your life. That's going to help you determine how you're going to pursue a woman. Like I said, more men, if you know that you're a man who don't want to be in a relationship, you're probably not going to pursue a woman in the way that a man who wants a relationship is going to pursue her, right? You may, as a man who wants to have not serious relationships, maybe more situationships or casual relationships, you're probably not going to be taking them out on dates as often. Or maybe you are, but you're going to communicate that this is the relationship that we have. It's different ways to do it. But I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. But that's all I have to say about this conversation. I feel like so many men ask me how to talk to women on here. And yeah, that's just a few little details. That's just a few. If you guys ever really want like one-on-one conversations on how to do these things, you can always book a free 15-minute consultation and I'll tell you what you need to know in 15 minutes. And you guys can, take what I tell you and determine if that's going to support you or not, in the future. But majority of the time, I'm really putting you on game, seriously. But you said good night. Okay, good night. What? You said some people it's any port in a storm. Hey, GR, what you mean? Any port, any storm? So I'm telling y'all from the perspective, the conversation I'm having today is from the perspective of a woman who dates men. Dates men, has been on dates before, has been approached by men many times. On top of that, I'm in the perspective of a friend who has beautiful friends who have seen their friends be approached real time, who also has family members who has been approached, right? So I'm not saying this from any ignorance. On top of that, I specialize in communication, more specifically social communication, pragmatic communication. So love the topic. Would love to go deeper into like gender roles. That's something that I haven't thought about. But the more that I'm on YouTube, it really gives me insight on the gender roles of dating and communicating in social environments. So I think that might be something that I'm going to dig deeper in the future. They will take whomever they can get. Oh, yeah. And that's an issue. That's another issue. People just be dating whoever just because they need a body. Or they need to be able to go back to their boys and say, oh, look who I'm with. But it's not a healthy reciprocal relationship. It's just not getting you anywhere. So that's how you'll know, really. Like, for a lot of women out there and men, you'll really be able to tell how serious a person is by their actions. Okay, when they met you, did they remember your name? Did they write it down? Are they asking questions about you? Are they showing genuine interest in you? Or are they just wanting to get your number and go on about their day? Because that's one of my biggest pet peeves, especially as I become older. I realize that one of my biggest pet peeves for a man is a man who just comes up to me and tell me how beautiful I am and be like, can I get your number? No. 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 You didn't ask for my name. You didn't ask anything about me. You just saw that I'm pretty and you just want my number. So I would like to decrease the amount of men that are doing that in real time. Please stop just looking at women saying they're beautiful and asking for their number and then leaving. Like, really take time to ask yourself, is this worth it? And put the time and effort into vetting the woman in real time and then going from there, So I'm just trying to put y'all on game. Like I said, I am a woman. Majority of the people I asked, are you afraid to talk to women? 15% said yes. 64% said no. 18% said sometimes. And 3% said I don't know. So that's a good little poll. That was a nice little poll, y'all. Hold up. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. But I don't know how to take this off. Why is it doing this? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll then. There we go. There you go. We're just going to go ahead and end the poll. That's all I got for y'all today, honestly. Yeah, there we go. That's all I got for y'all today, y'all. Y'all got any questions before we get off the live today? Any questions? Because, hey, y'all. That's interesting. I'm looking on my computer and I'm looking at my phone. And there's some comment. Oh, there it is. I'm going to say there's some comments that I didn't see. Well, there we go. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? So we about to get up off of here, y'all. Y'all see that? That's so beautiful. Anything worthwhile can be difficult sometimes. Exactly. And you know what I tell people? Anything that's hard is only hard because you don't know how to do it yet. Or you don't understand how it works yet. But once you can understand the structure and how things function, it's not hard. Not that hard. So sometimes you have to keep practicing. Practice in the mirror. Y'all used to see them videos or the movies, early TV shows, early 2000s where they was talking to themselves in the mirror. Like Issa Rae. You know, talking to themselves in the mirror. Practicing. Practice makes perfect. Because if you can at least practice in the mirror, your confidence boosts when you can look at yourself, number one. If you can't even look at yourself in the mirror doing it, that's step one. Practice in the mirror. Practice with a friend. Trusted loved one. And then when you do it in person, it will be programmed in your mind on how to do it. So, yeah. I'm doing well, y'all. But I hope you guys enjoy y'all's day. I'm keeping it kind of short today. Yeah, nah, I thought y'all would enjoy this conversation a little bit more. But, oh well, we're going to go ahead and hop off the live for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you guys can get something out of the conversation. Seriously. And, yeah, thank you, GR, for your time as well. Thanks for being here. I will see you guys later. Bye.